Hello, hi there, it's me, it's Dave. How's it going, my friends? God bless you. Thank you for finding some time in your day to join me for yet another live stream. I am very excited, though, to be making this live stream because I have done what I thought was previously impossible, but I have collected every single generic augment in this game at level 4. Finally! If you are familiar, you might have known that the last augment that we were missing was level 4 pestilence. Well, I got it! Finally! I'm thinking that if you are missing anything from the game in terms of augments, that maybe now is the time to play. Maybe there's good luck going on because NRS realizes that people are going to be playing MK12, so maybe they have increased the drop rates for things that you are missing. It really feels like sometimes when you are grinding for that single missing reward, whether it be an icon or an augment, it gets really grindy to get it to drop. However, we got the pestilence, so I'm so happy. What does that mean? Every single category of augment that's available for generic slots. This is what you're seeing. The green souls, the nether flame oranges, the order triangle grays, the chaos energies, the dragon bloods. I've got all of them from levels 1 through 4 for every single category now. I think really trying to get the chaos energy augments will be the toughest grind for anyone if you are trying to collect all of these things, whether it be brute strength or high and mighty or falling darkness. These things are going to be just a little bit more tough. Facts. Hello, I-75 South. Yes, I did see the trailer. Check out my other live stream. Was super hyped to see that. Basically, it was a commercial. I was so glad to see that commercial for Mortal Kombat. So amazing. Katana MK1 is awesome, says J-Ro. Yes, she looks beautiful. Very, very beautiful. But yes, I am so happy that I have completed all of the augments in this game. As you can see, I still haven't even taken a look at the pestilence augment. It's flashing orange, as you can see, the chaos energy augments. Okay, so let's inspect it together. Look at it, it's flashing. So now I have absolutely every single chaos energy augment from levels 1 through 4. Lord knows trying to get these are probably... This is probably a tougher grind than trying to complete any individual icon set for a character. All of these are pretty rare in comparison to the other augments available as generic augments. And half of them are elder rarity, meaning that if you are trying to do things like test your luck towers, the pool of potential elder generic augment rewards is so large that trying to get the specific chaos energy augment that you want is pretty tough indeed. But whoa, I'm so happy. Like, today is just such an amazing day. Having all of the augments, having this new trailer for MK1, it makes me excited to see what is coming for MK1 in terms of single player. Like, we have not found out about all of the offline and online modes. So I'm looking forward to finding out more. But as you can see, we have a number of these chaos energy augments. As some of them are just single drops. Like I only have a single one of this pestilence. There's many of these augments that I only have just a single copy of. So I'm glad that I can say that I have every single augment now. Yay! Amazing. Fabulous. Okay, so what are we going to be doing today? So we're going to be taking a quick look-see at all of these augments here in the generic categories and seeing what is useful and what is not. A quick version, we're going to be doing slotted or rotted. Is it worthy to be slotted or just it's rotting away in your inventory, never to be used? So yes, very, very exciting times. Ivory Tower. Rotted. Who's using this thing? Earn more gear XP. I would not recommend using any augments specifically for gear XP. Really, gear XP is attained at the highest levels with win streaks in the thousands. So yes, Ivory Tower, rotted. I don't think we would be ever using that. Same goes with Flip Side. Actually, all of these green soul augments, very few of them are actually useful. I would say anything related to gear XP, not useful at all. These are rotted, not useful augments meant to just wither away in your inventory. So yes, Ivory Tower, Flip Side, Blood Bank. You know what? Should we? We should keep a list of this. Perhaps. I'm thinking. Alright, so Spoils of War. Earn 20 souls after winning a match. I mean, like, this may seem useful to people until you get access to other better augments. Like, I think, like, the best souls augments that you can have are good souls. This is one of the better ones, but I would say the other one that is really good is the one that allows you to convert hearts into souls. Heart and soul. Here we go. Basically, heart and soul. Once you have a heart and soul, or good souls, you don't really necessarily need any of these other ones. Now, I know that like people have used some of these augments for other currency builds. Like, I'm pretty sure there's a Johnny currency build out there. That was one of the first builds that were like shown off. Like, oh, look at Johnny doing crushing blows. You can get souls. But I would never really recommend, once you have something like good souls or heart and soul, that Spirit Collector, it's just kind of like useless. The animation for a crushing blow is so long. It's gonna take you forever to actually accumulate souls that way. So okay, let's see. Silver Medalist. So Spoils of War, not useful, I don't think. I'm gonna say that's rotted too. Silver Medalist, rotted. Once again, this is giving you souls only if you complete a whole entire tower. Right? This isn't even giving you like a per match bonus. This is like a per ladder bonus. That's insane. So Silver Medalist, rotted. Have Mercy, once again, rotted. Like, who's doing that? I know you could be doing Infinite Mercies, but what's the point? If you're doing Infinite Mercies, you're probably looking for points, not looking for souls. Quite interesting. Spirit Collector, we kind of touched on this. It's rotted. So basically everything in this soul category, rotted augments. Hate them. Except once we get here to Dark Magic. Dark Magic is actually useful. One of the more useful and chase-worthy items from the soul category. Dark Magic. Convert each soul you earn into 1,000 coin. If you're trying to get lots of coin, combining things like Brutal Heart, Heart and Soul, Dark Magic. You're going to be getting lots of coins this way. Good souls, we also talked about this. So dark magic, good souls, they are slotted. They are not rotted. So only 2 slotted so far. Interesting. Okay, Lucky Rabbit's Foot, no good. I mean, I think like people are misguided. Unfortunately, using Lucky Rabbit's Foot, it's not altogether too clear within the in-game text description of the augment. What does luck do? You might think that you might be able to pair this with a Luckality or Lucky Blows. No, it does not increase the chances of a lucky hit, unfortunately. All that it does is increase your bonus modifier for Test Your Luck. That bonus modifier can give you extra points, allowing you to unlock brutal difficulty a little easier on Test Your Luck. But that's such a very, like, specific one-time use purpose. So I'm gonna say Lucky Rabbit's Foot, rotted. Unfortunately, even though I'm the Jaded Rabbit. Yes. Okay, Loser's Purse. This is ridiculous. You get coins for losing a match. Can we get real? Who wants to lose? Why would you augment to lose? You should be augmenting to win. So this is an obvious rotted, in my opinion. Okay, another rotted here. Alchemy. Once again, like the beginning augments at the top of the list. Like, what were they called? I can't even remember. Ivory Tower. Oh, yeah. Ivory Tower, Flip Side, Blood Bank. Anything relating to Gear XP is really rotted, useless. You're not gonna ever use it. It's just gonna waste away in your inventory. So yeah, alchemy, not a good idea to put onto an augment build. Ideally, you want to augment to give you the win quickly, flawlessly, because you can gain more gear XP from... Yeah, and here's the whole catch-22. You can gain more gear XP from a significant win streak, yes. But in order to even equip these augments to give you gear, to put on this augment to give you more gear XP, you need gear XP in the first place. So it's like a catch-22. Where are you going to get the gear XP to open the slots so that you can equip something like alchemy? It's ridiculous. Whoever thought about these augments did not really think long and hard enough about what are they going to be useful for. Okay, Gravy Train. This is an interesting one. I like the idea of it because it rewards good behavior. Like, if you're able to do a fancy long combo, you get coins based on your longest combo in a match. It's a good idea in concept. However, 200 coins times each hit in your longest combo in a match, like, just finish the match. You can get 250,000 coin in a second with Rambo Luckality. So what's the point of doing your longest combo, which is going to take forever? A. And B, there's human error, input error. Like, you're not always going to do your fanciest combo all the time. And the 3, like C, the rewards are so meager. Getting couple thousand coin, in no way outshines the 250,000 that you can get with Rambo Luckality with the proper augments. So yeah, Gravy Train, I'm gonna say rotted. That was a long way of saying useless. Stage Presence, useless. I'm gonna say that too. There's a limited number of environmental interactions. The stage with the most interactables is the Devora stage, the Chitin Hive. I believe you have 6 interactables that you can throw at the opponent. However, this is gonna give you what? 36,000 coins. Contrast that with a simple Rambo Luckality. You're getting a 250,000. Like, it's not worthwhile. Same goes for Fast Buck. I mean, Did they even think about how their own system works? Because when you come down later into the list and you come across augments like perfect combat, and heart and soul, dark money, brutal heart, like you're able to just gain a lot of hearts really quickly and then convert them into whatever currency that you want, whether it be soul or coin. I would say that's probably the best way of using these currency augments. Although, you know, it's nice to play around with things, I guess. Get yourself an extra 4,000 coin for getting the first hit in a match. That's eroded. We're going to say that's useless. 8,000 coins for each fatal blow you land. This is interesting because you can have infinite fatal blows. But on most builds where you're doing infinite fatal blows, you're not thinking about coin, and you would rather have a defensive augment to keep you alive rather than a currency augment to give you a minuscule scraping of coins. Yeah, not sure. Okay, Bronze Age. Once again, this is terrible. You get 20,000 coins after completing a whole entire tower. Not a single match, a whole tower, whether that be 5-man or 8-man or more. Like, you're only getting 20,000 coin for that? Why even make augments like this? It's useless. Okay, wow. Alright, so heart and soul, we touched on this. This is good. Heart and soul are great augments for currency. Gold mine. Yeah, for other reasons stated, this is not useful. Trying to get things based on a whole entire tower completion isn't a lot. Well, now I'm thinking. 40 hearts is pretty good if you're doing a single round boss tower. Intriguing, because Rambo Locality is giving you 98 hearts, I think. Somewhere close to 100. So 40 is actually a significant amount. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna say maybe to gold mine. It's actually an interesting option. Okay, perfect combat. Yes, this is crucial if you are trying to get through the game. You will need lots of hearts to do things like test your luck towers, meteor towers, character towers. Essentially, once you've gotten perfect combat as an early beginner player for Mortal Kombat 11, this is going to enable you to accumulate a lot of good currencies like hearts, souls, coins, provided you have the proper translating augments like dark magic and heart and soul. But perfect combat, yeah, this is crucial. I'm going to say slotted. Always slotted. What a great augment. You need perfect combat. Okay, a death benefit, no. Clearly, the option that you would want is brutality over fatality. Fatality also requires your tokens, which means that you have to grind for another currency before you actually see benefit from death benefit. Or you have to know your inputs, one or the other. Or rely on an AI to do it for you, which is not 100%. Okay, Brutal Heart. This is another slotted. This is great. Really enjoy Brutal Heart. This is going to allow you to get lots of hearts easily. So Brutal Heart, perfect combat. Very good. Okay, Selfish Mercy. Interesting. I don't want to downplay its significance, but anyone that you see in the top 10 spots of any leaderboard in MK11 for single-player Towers of Time, guaranteed most of them are using some version of Selfish Mercy. Selfish Mercy, important, but in not so obvious ways. Important for points, not important for getting things. Like, if you're using Selfish Mercy, you probably have a lot of time. A lot of time. Unfortunately, I don't have as much time, which I'm so glad though, because now we have all of the augments in the game. Can really just enjoy some time away from MK11. Doing some other things. Okay, Jonah. Hey, Dave. Wyufax. Sub-Zero looks so cool in the trailer. Can't wait to see gameplay. Yes, Sub-Zero does look cool. Very cool, I suppose. Okay, overtime. Gain an extra 4 seconds to complete dragon challenges. Blind luck. Okay, I am going to say probably rotted to overtime, and I'm going to give it a potential slotted for blind luck. I might use blind luck in some builds. Maybe. That's all I'm going to say. Potentially slotted. Okay, Soul Collector. Dragon challenges have a chance to reward souls, or they have a 10% chance to reward hearts. I'm going to say that these are not useful. You don't care about the currency if you are using blind luck. Blind luck is really for a different strategy altogether, not for currency. Although you could combine currency, it's still way more efficient to use things like perfect combat, brutal heart, converted into whatever currency, because with a few augments you're gonna get max currency bonus. Yes, very cool. All right, so here we are with the Nether Flame augments. I think we said rotted to a lot of the soul augments. I can only think of like a couple offhand that are actually useful. Perfect combat, brutal heart, heart and soul, dark money. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I think, especially if you are a newer player, those are the highlights. Those are the ones that you want to get. Thankfully, getting things like soul augments or nether flame augments, it's pretty easy. Come across a holiday tower, you're gonna see level 4 generic augment. 2 of them drop on brutal difficulty, repeat completions. And you are only going to get greens and oranges. So trying to get like the chase items that way will save people grinding in the game time, which is nice. But I digress. So let's come to the Nether Flame augments. Which ones are slotted and which ones are rotted? Quick Step increases your walk speed by 60%. So this would probably be used most for counteracting the slowdown effect with Superpowered. Superpowered reduces your movement speed. You can't jump, you can't dash. You're just very slow. So having something like Quick Step would remedy that. But I think the situations in which you would actually want to use Superpowered is so few, so rare, so circumstantial that Quick Step, it's by essence, it's just not useful. It's kind of a waste. I see what they were doing, like what NRS was doing when designing these augments, but effectually they are ineffective. They are not useful. Okay, Defenseless. Yes, this is key. Slotted. So this is essential for the Rambo Locality build. Once again, you have 120 bullets with Rambo, 20% chance to be unblockable with each and every single bullet. You are pretty much guaranteed to have that M60 land. With certain moves, it's wonderful. To get it is kind of rare. It's Elder. But once you have one, even at level 1, level 2, level 3, this will work with the one instance that I think most people are familiar with, Rambo M60. Alright, so, Rush and Attack. Apparently it's slotted. I'm gonna say slotted. Yes, it does have use. Mysterious uses that I've never publicized, but it does have use. Okay, a throwdown. Slotted? I mean, you can make some builds centered around the throw. Like Devora's throw, which can make opponents barf at the end of the throw, which is hilarious. Or you could also use it with Liu Kang or Shang Tsung. They both have some really powerful throw luckality builds, lucky blows builds. So there's also potential there, but I would say that for the most part, you're probably not using it. So even though I have one slotted, I'm going to say this is rotted. I know that I can see where they were going with it, but just as a result, it's just not useful. Because most people aren't going for throws for the whole match. Special moves, however, special moves are very spammable. So yes, special delivery, very much a slotted augment. You need special delivery, all of the special deliveries. Okay, this loser's bracket, much like loser's purse that you can get here, whereby if you lose a match, you can gain some coin. I guess the idea when they were drawing up this augment system was that you would combine loser's purse and loser's bracket. Maybe? Where are you using this? When do you want to lose a round? You don't want to lose a round. And if you are losing a round, and let's say you're like Mother Bug Devora or your Endoskeleton Terminator, like, you still have to fight another round, and you don't have the bug or the Endoskeleton available to you. It's just confusing. Very, very confusing. Okay, let's see what you guys are saying. Thank you for joining along. God bless you. Swishbish. Hey, y'all. Hey, Swish. Yes, we're celebrating the fact that I have now every single level 4 generic augment. We're doing slotted or rotted. Are they useful or are they just crap? I think there's a lot of crap in the augment system. A lot of fluff. Charlie, hey Dave. Illy, you too, Charlie. I love you too. You think the OG Kung Lao beaten by Goro will be in MK1? Isn't that the Kung Lao that we saw? Isn't that Kung Lao number 1? Or is that modern Kung Lao, but like in historical time setting with a period piece drama outfit? I don't know. Jonah, should I get collector's edition? If you want it, maybe. Jade, the MK1 trailer was so fire. OMG, I know, right? The trailer was amazing. It was lovely seeing Shang Tsung brutalize everyone one after the other. OMG, did you see the MK1 trailer? My girls are in there. Where's Jade? My girls aren't in there. Okay, alright, so, loser's bracket, rotted. First position. So as you can see here by the sale price, it sells for 2,000 coin at level 4, meaning that it's elder rarity. Once upon a time, first position was so useful. If you used it in co-op, you would see a 40% damage boost without the negative penalty of dealing 40% less damage after round 1. Because there's only one round in co-op, right? But unfortunately, I made too many videos about this and they didn't like it, so they nerfed it. So it no longer works like that. Now it's no longer active in co-op situations. Any situation where you have only one round is not active. It's active only in 2 rounds or more. Lame. So as a result, first position rotted. Fast burn. Ugh. Super slotted. I need more of these. I don't understand why it's been so hard for me to get more of these fast burns. They are just mythic rarity, but they are one of the more rare ones for me, apparently. But fast burn is great when combined with certain strategies like using elixirs or using a counteracting jinsei like Frost or Kung Lao. You don't experience fast burn effects. Actually, I think Frost you do, but Kung Lao, no. Shiva, no. I mean, and there's like weird ways that you can actually avoid the negative drawback of fast burn. If you're able to deal enough damage to delete a life bar, you experience no penalty. Fast burn is so great. I discovered, I guess, that exploit later on in the game, so devs couldn't nerf that. But I'm glad, you know, there are some exploits still in the augment system that people can take advantage of. Okay, so let's see here. Helping Hand. This is tough. This is really, really tough to justify. So Helping Hand allows you to achieve your flawless blocks without spending gauge, and you can pair that with the defensive augment. Where is it? Oh, here we go. Marked Down. So Marked Down plus Helping Hand. This is really useful as a set of training wheels to understand the flawless block mechanic better in the game, because it will allow you to go for flawless block attacks just freely, rapidly, consistently. However, trying to land a flawless block in a match consistently is pretty hard. Very, very hard. I would say, like, if you come across like a certain co-op tower and you want to learn how to flawless block a string or a character better, then putting on something like Helping Hand and Marked Down would work. But I'm gonna say, for the most part, for most people, it's rotted. Like, who's doing flawless block attacks in Combat League? If you are, well, good for you. I could never. All right, free refill slotted. Absolutely. That goes along with Fire Sale. Both of them are giving you reduction in your offensive gauge costs. Absolutely essential if you are trying to spam amplified attacks. Along that line, Amped Up, also very much slotted. So contrast that with the green augments. A lot of them were super crap, but Nether Flame augments are generally useful. As you can see, they are granting you significant bonuses at level 4. You have 100% quicker refill on your offensive gauge. If you combine that with the 50% cheaper with the offensive gauge costs, that means that you can really throw lots of air razor rings amplified at the opponent. Very useful. Okay, angle of attack. This is, once again, angle of attack, shields up, death dealer. Like, these are all static buffs to damage, and I think a lot of people might overlook them because the kind of damage that they're granting is not significant. It's only 20%, contrasted with like Bill of Health that gives you 50, or Special Delivery that gives you 40. But this is still a worthwhile investment, especially if you have a build centered around, I don't know, uppercuts. Hop attacks. You know, like, these are actually going to be useful. Very useful. So angle of attack slotted, Bill of Health slotted, much like fast burn, combining Bill of Health with the proper augment that grants you invincibility or elixirs. Bill of Health becomes really useful. So a lot of these Nether Flame augments, really good. Okay, pain tolerance. I I'm going to say this is rotted. It's an interesting idea on paper, but in practicality, it's so stupid. Why would you want to be at low health, just so quick to die, to deal a 40% more damage, when you have other plentiful options in the form of shields up, death dealer, angle of attack, special delivery, amped up, fast burn, bill of health? It's just insane. Like, I see that they want you to combine it with one of these augments. There's a lot of like symmetry between the Nether Flame augments and these order augments, because you have one that gives you increased damage resistance when you are at low health. I guess we'll come to it when we see it. Trying to find it. Yeah, I can see like what they were doing, but like, why would you want to keep yourself at low health so that you can then die in the next like breath? It doesn't make sense. So pain tolerance, no good. Insult and injury, 20% more damage, interesting. So insult and injury is very specific. And I would say if you have access to things like death dealer or shields up, this is going to be the superior option because it's granting you a static 20% damage buff across all of your attacks, as opposed to insult and injury, which is applied only for the crushing blow animation. Not even the whole like combo string or the whole move. It's only the part that's in that animation. So this is very specific. I don't use it. I'm gonna give it a rotted. It's rotted. Mix it up. This is a genius augment. It used to grant you infinite damage boost till they nerfed it because of me. But it was a great augment when it was fabulous with Sub-Zero. You could do like 30,000 HP damage in a fatal blow if you had a sufficiently long combo beforehand. Mix it up is still pretty good, giving you a doubling of damage if you have a 25 hit combo. That's pretty good. Pretty good. So mix it up. It's achievable. It's useful. Yeah, slotted. Hang time. Rotted. I'm going to say that hang time and quick step, it really kind of changes the way that you move in the game. Obviously, you're walking way faster and you're jumping way higher. And there are ways of using these augments with certain builds for good effect. Like Air Jackie. Jackie loves to be in the air, and it would be a good idea if you are making a Jackie build. Maybe consider using hang time. But that's like only Jackie. I guess other characters that can do something like Jackie, like Joker. But Joker doesn't have the blue spooge like Jackie. So, yeah, I mean, yeah. But Jackie has a lot of air attacks, too. She can do the ground pound. She can do the dive bomb. She can do the air grenade. It's, yeah. She's really, I think this was made for her. I can't really see it on any other character. For that reason, I'm going to say rotted, because not everyone's a Jackie main, unfortunately. Or fortunately, depending on your outlook. Okay, Death Dealer, slotted, for sure. We need it. We spoke about it before. I could use more of it. First Strike. You know, this is one of those augments that has never been modified since its release. It is useful. I would say particularly useful with Cyberhead Frost build. And anything Frost related, I would say, is more necessary for any player of the game. Like, if you're playing the game and you are brand new, some milestones that you should be working towards is cold efficiency for Frost, Rambo M60, ammo dump, lethality, defenseless. And First Strike kind of fits in there, too, with Frost. Because if you combine this with the Cyber Head, you are dealing massive damage upon your first hit, which you are guaranteed because you have cold efficiency. Now, sometimes it takes a little try to get it right. But yeah, First Strike, it's good, but it's only for a specific character. So I don't know. Slotted, rotted. I'm going to say slotted. Yeah, it's useful. Increased morbidity. I'm going to say rotted for the same reasons as insult and injury. It's only 20% for your fatal blow. Your crushing blows, your fatal blows, you're kind of ignoring the fact that you're dealing damage with a variety of other moves in a match. So this is going to be applicable in a very few specific instances. Yeah, I'm not sure about that one. I'm gonna say rotted. Fleet Feet increases your dash distance. Rotted as well. This really changes how far you dash. But I can't think of builds where you're gonna be doing a lot of dash canceling. Dash canceling is useful for, like, Combat League, but in single player you have things like armor clad and massive damage that you don't need to worry about, like, dashing super well. Okay. Stout defense, yes, totally slotted. This is essential for any oppressive elemental effects. Very, very essential. Needed for Melina, Katana, Rain, Noob Saibot, Sindel. Let's take a look at the whole list. Aaron Black, Jade, Sub-Zero. So many characters can make use of stout defense. So, totally. Slotted. Crazy Pain 2. Slotted. I've used all of them. 25 of them I have slotted. Very, very crazy. Crazy Pain is wonderful. You avoid the negative penalty if you're able to kill. Basically, deal 40% more damage, you take 60% more damage. But guess what? If you're hitting the opponent, they can't hit you. So it's like a free 40%. Totally slotted. Okay, Breakthrough. Totally slotted too. Very useful for those builds that you want some kind of security with. Particularly your favorite Test Your Luck build. Your favorite co-op build, you might want to consider putting Breakthrough on, because co-op opponents and Test Your Luck opponents may break through or break away, and you want to be able to catch an opponent breaking away. Also, sometimes they have multi-hit armor, and Breakthrough will allow you to hit them through their armor. Very important if you're not using something like Cyberhead Frost build. Yes, for sure. Fatal Flight, totally slotted too. It gives you a nice 40% damage buff. Very cool. Alright, so we've gone through the Soul and the Flame augments. Yay! Celebrating the fact that we have gotten all of these augments in this game. I am so happy. We've still got some augments to go through. Alright, let's see what you guys are saying. Thank you for joining. They should have made an augment that gives you time crystals. Totally, Jade. Cara D, I enjoyed the trailer too, but I don't think we will see Sindel, but that's okay. It will still be a good game, and I'm getting excited. Yeah, I'm not sure if we're getting Jade, but I'm still excited for it. Swish, I feel like we will see Sindel because they will want to redeem her storyline. Will they? They seemed pretty happy with how they did Sindel in MK11, so I'm not sure. Kara, she could, even if she is just a cameo fighter. Oh no, not the cameo fighter. I'm worried about these cameo fighters. I hope it's a good mechanic. Can't really talk too much crap about it without actually seeing it. So I'm looking forward to trailers revealing more about this cameo fighter mechanic in the game. Jade, no, MK1 is going to have a shop. I'm kind of mad. Are you surprised, though? I mean, it seemed like they would do more of the microtransaction stuff that they did in MK11. If anything, I'm hoping that it's similar to how it was implemented in MK11, because I never really had to spend money on microtransactions for MK11. Yeah. Okay, Jonah, giving the game a shop is pointless. If they have a shop, it better have useful things like buying the augments. Grinding to get all of these augments. It's taken me... wait... 2021, 2022, nearly 3 years to get all of these things. Okay. Alright, autoimmune. It's currently not slotted, but it does have usefulness. I'm going to say slotted. Yes. Kip up. Take 40% less damage from normal throws. So here you're seeing the symmetry between the flame augments and the order crystal augments. There's basically a corresponding augment in the defensive category, and usually they're not useful. Like, who's using Kip Up? I feel like this is one of the most common augments. Yes, it is mortal. I feel like if you are gonna get, like, a gray triangle augment, you're probably gonna get Kip Up. It sucks. Okay, super powered, slotted. Yes, it has potential. Usefulness in giving you health despite you not moving around. Level 4, not so special. Not useful. Rotted. Like, why would you want to bulk up on defense when you could just kill the opponent outright? So a lot of these defensive augments, I'm gonna say that they are rotted. Rotted. Autoimmune, I say, is slotted, even though I don't have any slotted, because you can find purpose for it, especially when you're hunting points. That's all I'm gonna say. You might have seen me hunting for points. Using autoimmune is actually useful in those situations. Okay, in good repair and armor clad. Yes, the fabulous combo duo of armor plus the ability to repair that armor in 2.5 seconds. 4 hits of armor, 1 hit of armor being recharged every 2.5 seconds. This is powerful. I'm using this stuff at level 3, if that gives you an idea. Look, I even have one here at level 2. These things are so important. One of the highest, most desired augments in the whole game. Armor clad in good repair. Hopefully you guys can get some of these. It allows you a free hit, and sometimes all you need is that 1 hit to kill the opponent. Right? That's super powerful. So yes, 45 of my builds have armor clad. And all of them are trying to run all of the in good repair I have. Yes. Crazy. Okay, even odds. 40% more health after losing a round. Once again, why are you trying to lose? This is rotted. Bad idea. Okay, Breath of Life. Hey, this is actually very useful. You can combo this with natural 20 and running on empty to regen 100% of your health for every block you make, right? Because with natural 20 running on empty, all of your blocks become flawless blocks. So that means all of your flawless blocks are giving you 100% health, meaning that you're healing wonderfully. Basically, anytime you're using a natural 20 build with running on empty, you should think about maybe including Breath of Life if you need a defensive option like health regen. Very powerful. One of the best health regen augments in the game, aside from Kotal Khan. I think Kotal is very powerful. Okay, bonus time. It goes along the same category as Markdown and Helping Hand. Who's doing flawless blocks? This is so crazy. So I feel like this is harder to work into a build Maybe a training wheels build where you're learning how to flawless block. But in practicality, this is not going to give you much benefit. You would rather have something more offensive. Markdown, yeah, we talked about that. Rotted, a pocket of resistance. 20% less damage from normal attacks. A lot of these defensive augments, I feel, are too specific to be useful. The defensive augments that are really beneficial are like autoimmune, which grants you a damage buff to all kinds of attacks. Let's see. And we've also got self-defense. This is another one that I would say is slotted because it's giving you a 20% less damage to all attacks and it decreases your damage output. Might be doubly beneficial. Cheap tricks. No, what is the other one? Combat conditioning. Yes, this is a static 20% less damage. So I would say things like combat conditioning, autoimmune, self-defense, these are actually useful. They have some sort of use. For a lot of people, I think you wouldn't find use, though. If you are really interested in going after top score placements, they are useful. But yeah, in different situations, you would want to think about what augment you're using for each situation. Okay, alright, so, let's go back to where we were in the list. Pocket of resistance, yes. Okay, offensive measures. 40% less damage while your offensive gauge is full. Contrast that with shields up, which gives you 20% more damage when your defensive gauge is full. You're getting more defense from the augment versus the offensive power from the Nether Flame augment. Really insane that they decided to make characters super bulky through these augments. I would have appreciated more power, but I could see why they've balanced it so that the damage buff isn't as great as the defensive buff. But either way, I'm not using offensive measures as much as, let's say, autoimmune or combat conditioning. This is going to be rotted. Yeah. Last stand. Oh, yeah, here we go. This is the converse of... Ooh. What was it called? When you have the 40% more damage when you're below 30. Pain tolerance. So yeah, so they're trying to say combine pain tolerance with last stand. You will take 40% less damage below 30%. This one is actually like properly mirrored symmetrically. You got 40% less damage with last stand, and you have 40% more damage with an offensive flame augment. I can see how it, like, makes sense on paper, but why would you want to be, like, a hair's breadth away from, like, dying? It doesn't sound good. So I'm going to say slotted. This is just never used. Don't use it. Damage control. You take 40% less damage from crushing blows. I say it fails the same way as the other one that we saw earlier, pocket of resistance. Yeah, I don't like these, like, very specific situational things, because you never know when it's going to actually be useful. You would rather rely on an augment that's more consistent and useful than those. Banged and bruised. Armor. I'm going to say this is actually really hard to use. For instance, let's say that you get hit by a 7-8 hit combo. Your armor will activate while you are still in the air. And you can essentially lose the buff from banged and bruised before you even touch the ground. So, no. I would say the more reliable option is armor clad. This is a waste of space. Rotted. Rotted. Okay, life stealer, slotted. Yes, very useful. Fast healer, I would say this is a slotted augment as well. I'm not using it, but I can see a lot of situations where you would want to use it, like with Terminator, or Gearus, or Scarlet, or Kotal Khan, any character that has access to wonderful healing, you would want to use fast healer with them. Oh yeah, Noob Saibot, really good when combined. Pumped up, definitely slotted. You would want to use it for any character. If you're not sure what augment to put on, you would want to put on pumped up. Gives you double health, no drawback. Nice and simple. Those are usually the most powerful of buffs. Combat conditioning, this is also very much slotted. It's wonderful. It gives you 20% less damage, no drawbacks. Very cool. Lethal immunity, rotted. Terrible. Like, why do they make these augments that are just so useless? They are very circumstantial, very situational. You're not using them most of the time. Quick recovery, oh yeah, totally slotted. Essential for Frost. You would want to have more defensive gauge for your cold efficiency, cybernetic armor. Very powerful. Also useful for other characters that end up relying on defensive gauge, like Cetrion. Who else? Like Cetrion. And we're gonna go slotted. Who else do we have it on? Terminator. Oh yeah, because he has the Terminate ability. That is a pretty useful ability. Yeah, okay, cheap tricks. 50% cheaper defensive gauge costs. Oh, now I remember why this stuff is slotted. Yeah, I'm gonna say quick recovery, cheap tricks, very much slotted. If you are doing things that require defensive gauge, like get-ups, rolls, interactables, you would want to have these augments equipped. They are very useful. Okay, self-defense, yes, slotted. For me, I'm using it. Most people are not using it, but if you're interested in points, it is very useful. Okay, escape artist. You have a 50% chance to survive a deadly hit. Terrible. Why would you even want to be at the range of being at a deadly hit? If you are near the end of your life bar, you have made a mistake somewhere. Don't augment to validate your mistakes. Please don't. Don't do that. So I'm gonna say this is rotted. Okay, Blessed Shield. See, like, I wish Banged and Bruised and Blessed Shield worked better. I wish, but no. I think you can really just rely upon armor clad. These other options to give you armor are just not reliable, not useful, not consistent, doesn't work as you would expect it to. Totally unintended, not original. Yes, not good. Bless Shield, not good. Sky King, I'm gonna say it's useful. Just like how Fatal Flight is useful, if you spend a lot of time in the air, like Air Jackie builds, having something like Sky King can really help out with keeping you alive in the air. Also, Devora, Mother Bug, if you are controlling the bug, having Sky King equipped should be a consideration. Alright, wow. Let's see what you guys are saying. We're at the Chaos Energy Augments. I'm so excited. This is what I've been waiting for. All right. I'm happy for the new MK game, Dave. Yay, lovely to hear, Steven. Do you think the new crypt on the new MK game? Oh, do you think they will be doing? I mean, I hope that they do a crypt, or better yet, an open world single player experience. That would be really lovely, but we'll have to find out. They did like a Yakuza Light for Street Fighter 6. I would have loved an idea or something similar to that with MK1, something a la like Shaolin monks. That would be really interesting. Really interesting. Kara, I'm kind of worried about cameo fighters too, but also good point that we need to wait to see what that means. Exactly. I can't hate on it too much until we actually see it. Okay, so before we do the Chaos Energy augments, let's do the Dragon Blood augments, because I feel like these are like super... This will be quick. Okay, so a lot of these augments, there are 9 of them that are absolutely questionable. Beginning with Sure Cure. Why would you use a Sure Cure? You might use it in Test Your Luck Towers, but if you're playing Test Your Luck Towers, the more reliable option would just be make a physical elemental build. Like Jax, or Baraka, or Cabal, or Cassie, or Robocop. Like, you have a lot of options. You don't have to be using an elemental build and then using one of these elemental transference augments to convert your elemental damage into physical type damage. The reason why you would want to do this is strictly for Test Your Luck Towers, where you would want to deal physical damage because no character would be immune to the damage you're dealing then. Like, there's a lot of augments in the game that only see usefulness for Test Your Luck Towers. And I would say this is one of them. The other idea would be you could combine this with Natural 20 and High and Mighty and Point of Attack to get that doubling of damage for physical type moves. But at that point, you're wasting 4 augment slots. Like, surely there would be 4 better augments that you could put on in place of Witch's Brew and Natural 20. It's all about math. And I think, like, maths are saying Special Delivery, Fast Burn, Crazy Pain, and Death Dealer are giving me a greater damage boost than Witch's Brew, Natural 20, High and Mighty, and Point of Attack. So think about it that way. Like, if you have only 4 slots to use on your build and you have to get the most damage out of them because the other 2 slots are defensive, then you would want to make sure that you are getting the highest total. So a lot of these augments here in the Dragon Blood category, I'm going to say, are like rotted. Transmutation, Call to Order, etc., etc. So as we go through this list, anything that's like that, we're going to say just rotted. Okay. Emergency measures. Totally slotted. Emergency measures is required in order to activate glitches and exploits in the game. Period. If you don't have emergency measures, you cannot access some of the fanciest augment glitches available. So get them emergency measures. They're useful. Cheap hit. Your offensive gauges costs are halved. You have no defensive gauge. Generally, I would say fire sale and free refill are better options than cheap hit, because why would you want to lose your defensive gauge? I think the only time you would want to consider things like cheap hit and... what's the other one? There is one that takes away your offensive gauge. What's it called? Okay, whatever. We'll find out. But yeah, cheap hit, not useful. Rotted. Only useful if you have no natural 20, but just go get a natural 20. It's not that hard. Natural 20 isn't as hard to get in comparison to some other augments. Some other augments are just really hard to get, like the Chaos Energy ones that we will be looking at next. Emergency measures, yes. Fringe benefit, no. No, you don't want to use this one either. This is rotted. 20% of the damage you deal fills your offensive gauge. Who cares? Just kill the opponent. You don't need to refill your gauge. Enforce. Your attacks cannot, and you can't combine it with natural 20. That's also very important, so it's not useful. Enforce. I think a lot of people might overlook this augment, but if you have space for it, natural 20 plus running on empty plus enforce is going to give you a fully unblockable special move. All of your special moves will become unblockable with the combination of those 3 augments. Natural 20 and running an empty will give you a pseudo unblockable effect. However, if the opponent flawless blocks the first hit, and then there's that, right? They can flawless block. Flawless blocking will stop some builds, so having enforce on there, really useful. Okay, off the blocks. You take no block damage while you have no defensive gauge. I think, once again, this is a Jackie only build. Yes, I think so. I think off the blocks actually works well with Jackie's leg breaker build, because the whole idea is that you're blocking and waiting for the opponent to throw you, and then amplify the leg breaker. So while you're waiting for the block and waiting for them to throw you, and then you automatically throw escape and amplify. Yeah, that's when you would use it. It's very situational. I can only think of one instance where you would want to use it, so I'm gonna say for that reason, rotted. Unless your favorite character is Jackie. Jackie actually uses a lot of these augments in an interesting way. Yeah, Jackie. Alright, Witch's Brew, rotted. It's the magic transference to physical. No. Fit to kill. You can perform your crushing blows once per round, but they deal 50% less damage. I mean, this is essentially a pure and simple idea. You would want to use pure and simple plus fit to kill to deal damage, as opposed to smoke and mirrors, which would take away your damage. But I think the power to do your crushing blows without limit outweighs that of dealing damage. Who cares if your crushing blows deal damage if it's only 50% less, right? You're not using that to get through rounds. If you're going through rounds, you would use just pure and simple and then use an offensive augment over fit to kill so that all of your crushing blows are dealing yeah, this is rotted. Fit to kill. Thinking about it more and more, not useful. Pure and simple, totally useful. Slotted. Smoke and mirrors, slotted. If you want an infinite combo build, one of the easiest strategies would be to make an infinite crushing blow combo using both of these augments. Pure and simple, smoke and mirrors. Snow melt, flame out, rotted. They are all rotted. Okay, second chances. Regain your fatal blow if it succeeds and you lose the round. Your fatal blow cannot be reattempted if it fails. That's such a penalty. Cannot be reattempted if it fails. Yeah, I mean, just use faster combatant, kill, and quick kill. This is gonna give you infinite fatal blows, and you're not penalized to the point where if you fail the fatal blow, it doesn't come back. Whereas quick kill, faster combatant, kill, that's giving your fatal blows back in 4 seconds. Yeah, so I'm not sure about that. Second chances, we're gonna say rotted. Faster combatant, kill, quick kill, we're gonna say slotted. You need them if you want infinite fatal blows. Indefensible, your fatal blow can only be flawless blocked. So this is actually a really good augment. Was really more useful when your fatal blows could delete opponents' life bars for pretty much every character when Bill of Health and first position weren't nerfed. This was back in May of 2020. Indefensible would be really good in combination because if like you take like a Melina Fatal Blow, or rather an Aaron Black Fatal Blow, like it has multiple hits. Shiva's Fatal Blow, multiple hits. It's impossible to flawless block all of the hits, meaning that the Fatal Blow is going to land and it's going to kill. But it doesn't mean so much after the nerfs, given that you're really limited on your damage output. Running Indefensible becomes a lot harder when you need to boost the damage of the Fatal Blow, especially after faster combatant kill. Yeah, Indefensible, we're going to say rotted. I mean, it used to be slotted, but now it's rotted. Okay, wow. We're just flying through these things here. Okay, Desperation Maneuver, Desperate Fatal Blow on your last breath. Take 50 damage whenever you fail your Fatal Blow. No. This is rotted. You don't want to be on your last breath to actually do something. Just win the match outright in the first second, rather than waiting for the opponent to bring you to last breath. This is rotted. It's useless. Mind over matter, rotted. Running on empty, totally slotted. It's useful. For reasons that we've already gone into. Impedance, impotence, impotence. Rotted. Who wants impotence? Not I. Okay, second win. Spend health instead when your defensive gauge is empty. So this is like the emergency measures, but for the defensive gauge. I can't even think of a situation where that would be useful. So we're going to say slotted. I mean, I can think of circumstances where you would want to have defensive gauge readily available, but you could accomplish it easily with, like, cheap tricks, quick recovery, sufficiently so that you don't need to waste your health. So why waste your health when you have a better option? So yeah, we're going to say second chances, not good. Or not second chances, second win, not good, rotted. Punch and Judo, 20% of your damage you take fills your defensive gauge. Once again, you don't want to be taking damage, you want to be dealing damage in a match. So it's counterintuitive to what you want to do in the game. So Punch and Judo, rotted. Rear guard, your armor, you have armor while dashing. Your dashes cannot be canceled. This is actually a very interesting augment because it brings into notion the idea that you can cancel into your dashes, which is true, and I didn't realize that until coming across rear guard. Like, let's say, for instance, you're playing as Jade and you want to backdash away to get away. You can backdash away and cancel into an Adinian Spark, which is actually very useful. But to lose that ability with rear guard, I'm not sure. And no build requires just dashing. It's just an interesting idea on paper, but not in practicality. And it's rare. Very rare. So we're going to say rotted. A lot of these augments are rare, but rotted. After Midnight converts dark damage. Yeah, rotted. You don't use those things. Your attacks drain 10 offensive gauge to deal 10% more damage. You cannot amplify your attacks. Oh. You know, I was trying to remember this augment the other day, but it's so rarely used. I couldn't remember. Pattern of Force. Like, you wouldn't want to run Pattern of Force before you at least consider Death Dealer, Shields Up, Angle of Attack. Like, consider these 20% damage buffs before actually using pattern of force. It's just such a weird... A lot of these augments are just weird. Like, why did they even create them? I guess just to pad out the number of things that you have to collect. Pain resistance. Attacks you take drain defensive gauge to inflict 25% less damage. You cannot perform escapes. Once again, really weird idea. Not really too practical, because, like, you don't want to be taking damage. The whole goal is that you stay alive. That you win. So I'm going to say rotted. Elder God Armor. Yeah, slotted. I have it slotted on one character just in case I come across something really annoying in test your luck activities. Trying to get through some of those towers without Elder God Armor is kind of hard. So it does have usefulness, but only in test your luck towers. This is not helping you out in regular towers of time. In co-op towers, other towers, this is doing nothing. Kind of unfortunate, to be honest. Okay, call to order. Yeah, we're going to say rotted, transmutation, natural 20. That's slotted, for sure. I mean, it's one of the most essential combos of augments in the game. Alright, so we've come to the Chaos Energy augments, and there are 4 times 10, 40 different Chaos Energy augments to collect. I do believe that's more so than any other category of augment. You have 4 for every elemental type in the game. One of them being a damage boost, which is mortal rarity. One of them being a damage reduction for that elemental type with mythic rarity. And 2 pertaining to a special elemental effect, a % chance of causing it, and increasing the quantity of effect once activated. Both of those are Elder. So half of this are Elder augments, much rarer than anything else in the game. Trying to get all 40 Chaos Energy augments at level 4 will probably be the grind that most people are unable to complete. You can complete a variation icon with willpower, an icon set with willpower, time, and patience. But you will need these things in greater quantities to try and collect all of this stuff. It's taken me about 3 years to get just a single copy of all of these augments at level 4. Whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. So I'm so happy that we got Pestilence. This is it. Level 4 Pestilence. Yay. It's rotted. Who needs this? I worked so hard to get it, but generally, we're gonna say all of the damage boosting augments, they are slotted, giving you a 50% damage boost to poison, a 50% damage boost to magic attacks, a 50% damage boost to fire attacks. These are all very important augments in the game. They outclass Nether Flame augments in most situations if you are building around a specific elemental type, which you should be doing. You can really utilize these elemental augments to give you lots of damage. Now, out of the 10 different damage boosting Chaos Energy augments, only one of them is Elder rarity, and that is Brute Strength. Because physical type damage in the game is the most important by far out of all of the other types. Previously, Brute Strength was granting you a 50% damage increase. They nerfed that to 20. Even at 20, it's still useful for certain circumstances, like really physically based characters like Terminator, or if you're going for Frost Cyberhead, it's useful. But like Death Dealer is outclassing Brute Strength in a lot of situations. So if you have a choice between Death Dealer or Brute Strength, you would probably want to run Death Dealer because it's giving you a boost across all of your attacks, whereas the Brute Strength is only for your physical type attacks. And a lot of characters have access to different elemental types, so bear that in mind. The mythic augments, the ones that grant damage resistance, like you're seeing here with natural immunity, in my experience, the only time that I have ever used things like Out of the Cold or, let's see, what's it called? Oh, what's the fire resistance one? Flame-Kissed? Flame-Kissed, yes. The only times that I've ever used these things were in co-op. The damage resistance is very useful for co-op. That's all I'm going to say. So having these kinds of things, they are slottable, but I think for the vast majority of players, they are going to go unslotted, which is a shame. Maybe one day I'll have to make a video about why these augments are important. But it's really hard to illustrate that. I'm gonna have... It's hard. You can see offense, right? But you don't really see, like, the passive defensive buff as well, I feel. Especially if you don't have health numbers turned on your HP bar, which a lot of people don't. So, yeah. Okay, and then let's talk a little bit about each of the different elemental abilities, like whether or not you should be slotting things like Toxemia and Pestilence. I'm going to say no. Like, the poison elemental effect, it's better replicated with Jinseis. Pretty much for every character that you would want to think about using poison attacks. Like Devora, you would think that she would be like the poisoner of the group. However, she's got Jinsei that really helps out. Deadly Venom. Poison attacks infect victims by 20%, eventually causing them to vomit. What that means is that you can make the opponent vomit pretty quickly and lose all of their gauge. It's essentially a free Pestilence and Toxemia built into one with the natural 20. Like, you're getting a 3-for-1 with Deadly Venom. So things like Pestilence, Toxemia, not useful. Also, yeah, like Melina. Even characters that you wouldn't think about, like, having this ability. Where's Cursed? I'm trying to find the curse. She's got a cursing augment. Oh yeah, here we go. Conum's Jinx. Psi attacks curse the victims, preventing gauge use for 8 seconds. This isn't a quote-unquote elemental effect, but you've got cursing Jinsei for Cabal, for Noob Saibot, that prevent the use of gauge for 8 seconds. This is even better than the Pestilence effect. So it's really hard to justify using things like Pestilence or Toxemia. I'm going to say not slotted. Okay, so next one comes Heartbreak, Slow Going. I'm going to say this is slotted for sure. Like, I am using it with Fujin, and Fujin's one of my essential builds at this point. He gets through the matches so quickly. Having, though, things like Hard Break or Slow Going really depends on your personal play style. Like, Kung Lao, Nightwolf, Fujin can all take advantage of this magical ability to slow down the opponent. But then it also requires you to change your play style so that you are properly countering and punishing a slower than normal opponent. Which might be easier, might be harder, depending on how you're playing. So bear that in mind. I'm going to say it's slotted, though. It is useful. All right. Next one, we've got the cold. We've got the cold effect. Blowing, blizzard, and winter forecast. Winter forecast, this is another augment that I only have a single copy. Whoa. Yeah. It's just like the pestilence. I don't have many of these things. But I would say don't bother. Blowing, blizzard, winter forecast. A lot of the characters that you can create a freezing effect, like Sub-Zero, you can create a freezing effect, not by the generic augments, but by his jinseis. Deep freeze, you've got extended freeze effects. They thaw 200% slower. You've also got a 100% chance to be chilling. So this is better than natural 20 and winter forecast. The jinseis really makes some of these elemental augments obsolete. So much like poison, I would say, yeah. the cold effect is also kind of made obsolete because you've got better options in the form of jinseis. All right, let's see what you guys are saying. Thank you for joining. Sean, I got all the new skins for RoboCop. Amazing. I'm glad to hear that, Sean. Brian, how are you doing today? I'm very happy about Mortal Kombat 1. Your friend, Brian. Thank you, Brian. Yes, I'm very happy about the news as well. But I'm way happy, too, about having all level 4 generic augments. J4, I knew you'd get that level 4. Where'd you score it? So I actually got it playing Test Your Luck Towers, not on my PS5 version, but on the PS Plus streamed version. I figured, hey, why not try it out? Maybe I'll get it. I did. There was also a frost boss tower. I was hoping to get another cold efficiency. Didn't get that, but I can't complain. I got the level 4 pestilence. I've got all the augments now. Okay, so the fire effect, I'm gonna say this is totally slotted. Living flame, burned alive. This is very powerful. You would want to use these things with, like, Scorpion, Cetrion, Kotal Khan, Shiva, Joker. They're all really good users of these, like, fiery attacks. RoboCop. So yeah, having that damage over time, very useful, should be considered if you are making a fire type build that includes Raging Inferno. All right, energy. Oh no. Okay, so this is one ability that I think is not as useful as the other effects in the game. Blast radius, downburst. This is the special elemental effect for energy type attacks. So think about Johnny, think about Jackie, think about Kano's laser. These are all dealing energy type attacks. And you have the potential of drawing the opponent close towards you. I don't think that's beneficial because most of the time you're pulling the enemy really close and they are eating your armor off super quick. I find blast radius and downburst really counterproductive to the whole process of trying to get a win. I can only justify it on Jackie. A lot of these augments I can only justify using for Jackie. Perhaps the person who made the augment system is really a Jackie main. Because with Jackie, you're able to grease kick and keep the opponent really close so that you can go for consecutive grease kicks. And since grease kick starts up in, 11 frames? It's a pretty quick startup for an attack, allowing you to really pull the opponent close and just kick the living daylights out of them. Yes, very fabulous. All right, so let's move on to the electric elemental effect. We've got live wire and alternating current, and this is slotted for sure. I was experimenting the other day with my Joker electric effect. It's useful for Joker, useful for anyone with an electric effect, like Rain, like Raiden, even RoboCop. So there is potential to use these augments there. They are not useless. So the way that it manifests, though, within the actual match is a little hard to understand, I feel. When you touch an opponent with an electric type attack, it does not stun them. It does not stop them in their tracks. It instead adds like a little blue shocking aura to the opponent, and you have a percentage chance of eventually stunning that opponent into doing nothing, allowing you to go for a combo or go for another move that would hopefully kill the opponent. It's kind of like the freezing aspect where you eventually hit the opponent with chilling attacks and then eventually you freeze them. So it's kind of like that, but for electric type attacks. Similar effect, different types. And I would say that unlike the freezing generic augments, blowing blizzard, winter forecast, those are outclassed by their Jinsei counterparts. But they are not outclassed for characters like Rain, like Raiden, because there will always be usefulness with Livewire. Livewire is really cool. It allows you to just stun them a lot more quicker. So Livewire, I would say that one's a little bit more slottable than alternating current, but both are pretty good. Wow, I can't believe we have all of the augments, and we're almost through this whole list of generic augments. I'm so surprised. Okay, so let's continue on. We have the dark augments. OMG. Falling Darkness, Pitch Black. Only a single copy of Pitch Black, and a single copy of Falling Darkness at level 3, and it's slotted, and I'm using it at level 2. This is for sure one of the most important augments in the game. Nothing else outclasses damage output from level 4 Falling Darkness. Period. It is one of the best damage boosts, immediate damage boosts that you can get in the game. Also means that you don't need to rely on Jinsei. So characters like Cabal, Melina, Noob Saibot, they can see benefit from these generic augments even if you don't have their character towers unlocked, which means that you could use these augments as you're going into their character towers. So this is, yeah, I'm gonna say very essential. Any one-shot build, lots of one-shot builds are using a Falling Darkness, they're using Pitch Black. I even use the level ones. The level ones are useful too. But I would say, yeah, one of the best chase items in the game, I think for myself, I would have to say Fast Burn, In Good Repair, Falling Darkness. Really top tier augments that I think everyone should get more of. Alright, Creeping Dark. Oh yeah, like I said, all of these damage boosting augments, they are slotted. They are very useful. Okay, High and Mighty Point of Attack. I would say this is the second most important damage boosting augment in the game. If Falling Darkness is number 1, High and Mighty is number 2. So think about Falling Darkness. Falling Darkness, you're going to need Natural 20, Falling Darkness, and Pitch Black in order to really get that fancy 1200% more damage. Not 3000, 1200%. But with High and Mighty, you're going to need Natural 20, High and Mighty, and maybe running on empty, right? And points of attack. I think like running on empty becomes more essential with high and mighty because you're going to have to actually land the move in order for it to cause damage. Whereas you don't need to land the move with Falling Darkness. You just need to catch a blocking opponent. And if you catch an opponent not blocking, well, hey, that's still a good outcome. Whereas High and Mighty, you're relying on hitting that opponent to cause that damage. But High and Mighty plus Point of Attack, it's giving you a doubling of your damage. Point of Attack gives you a 20% damage boost, plus the 80 from High and Mighty. Yeah, it's one of the best damage boosts in the game, provided you're dealing physical damage, which a lot of characters are dealing physical damage. Really think about using these augments if you have them, because they are very powerful. Okay, Chaos. Yes, slottable. This is actually very cool. I actually also got this nerfed in the game. I was like, hey, Derek Kurtzik, look at my Chaos Collector build. And he's like, okay, like, he left a like, and then he nerfed it. Previously, you could cause a pop-up of effect whenever the confused fighter dealt damage to you. So let's say you were standing on a pillar of fire, and the opponent is confused. Well, you are getting damaged over time. The opponent is getting popped up over time. It was insane. This was such a great effect. Even nerfed, it's still a pretty good effect. It doesn't cause a pop-up. It doesn't interrupt the opponent any longer, but it does reflect damage back onto them. So this is one of, like, if you don't have Shang Tsung Scatter Soul build where you can reflect damage back onto the opponent, but you have a chaos attack, you could use Circle of Confusion and Dazed and Confused to cause damage. This is an LOL lolz effect. Very powerful. Yes. Okay, and we come to the blood effect, which is the vampiric healing of blood feed and once bitten. I'm gonna say that once bitten, no, not useful. And then we'll say blood feed, useful. Why do I make this distinction? The only characters that you have blood type attacks are Scarlet, Kotal, and Shang. So Scarlet actually has a wonderful Jinsei, whereby she gets a 100% vampiric effect from the Jinsei. So you don't need natural 20. You don't need once bitten. You just need level 4 Bloodsucker, which is mythic, not as hard to get as once bitten either. So you're better off with the Jinsei. The other option that you have is Kotal. Kotal has a couple of blood type attacks, especially when he has the blood totem activated. I think it's the Etzli totem or whatever it's called. Let's double check. I just want to make sure. Yeah, it's the Etzli. Why do I know this stuff? Gross. But the Etzli totem turns a number of Kotal's attacks and special attacks into blood type attacks. So this is another way that you could do that. But, like, why not just go for... You get a healing. Jinsei? Here we go. Life Stealer. Recover 160 health when consuming the opponent's blood. So, like, if you're going for an amplified Hui, which turns into a blood type attack if you have the Etzli totem active, you could just use Life Stealer instead. That's giving you a better healing. 160 health. That's some of the best healing in the game. Really good. Curious things. So this is why I would say once bitten is not really as necessary as blood feed. The other option that you have is Shang Tsung with his explosive corpse drop. But, I mean, why would you make a build around the explosive corpse drop? He has a lot better options before playing around with the explosive corpse. So, yeah, I feel like some of these augments, they are very character specific, even though they are generic. Like, you're not using Blood Feed or Once Bitten on anyone besides Scarlet, right? You're not using some of these things like Downburst or Blast Radius on anyone besides Jackie. Or if you're a pro Johnny or Sonya player, but I just don't see it. I don't see it happening. Well, yeah, also here, like Jackie is probably the only user of off the blocks. You take no block damage while you have no defensive gauge, and then combine that with hang time. Like, Jackie's probably the only user of some of these augments really effectively. So it's surprising that some of these things exist in the game. I think a great many of these augments are crap. They are just rotted. So, okay, what are the highlights? So, I would say if you are a newer player, you should be focused first on getting yourself the soul currency augments, perfect combat, brutal heart, heart and soul, and dark money. This is going to allow you to, or dark magic. This is going to allow you to gain lots of hearts and convert them into souls or coins. If you're a newer player, that should be your first goal. Second goal would be to get any of the Nether Flame augments. A great majority of these augments are useful, as we went through. So I would say getting any of these is pretty much a good thing, unless you're getting something lame like insult and injury or pain tolerance. Like those, those are not good ones. A lot of the order crystals, they're pretty crappy. I would say like the highlights here are armor clad and in good repair. These are definitely what are the chase items from this category. But if you are interested in playing in co-op, if you are interested in playing in different activities in different ways, i.e. going for points, you might want to think about using order crystals / those defensive chaos energy augments. Like I was saying before, things like natural immunity find greater purpose in co-op towers as opposed to regular towers. But those are not chase items. The chase items really would be armor clad and in good repair. Now, the Chaos Energy Augments, these are going to be the toughest thing for you to acquire in this game. And really, the ones that you want the most, that will have the most practicality, would be High and Mighty, and then ultimately Falling Darkness. Falling Darkness is probably the most important Chaos Energy Augment. High and Mighty coming in right after it, but all of the other ones, they all see their usefulnesses, so basically all of the Chaos Energy augments are pretty good, except for the Poison one, except for the Freezing one, for reasons stated before. Oh yeah, and the Energy one. The Energy ones, yeah, no. Okay, and the Dragon Bloods, like, these are the ones that you would expect. Pure and simple, smoke and mirrors, natural 20, running on empty, quick kill, faster combatant, kill. Those are the ones that you're looking out for. And just a single copy of Elder God armor should be good enough to get you through the whole game. But you would want multiple copies of, like, natural 20, running on empty, pure and simple, smoke and mirrors. Pure and simple and smoke and mirrors. Please, don't sleep on this. If you want an infinite combo, combine these two things, and then you will get an infinite combo if you're able to juggle in time properly, which is very, very cool. But whoa! We've had a very, very long stream, but this was all in celebration of the fact that I have gotten all of these augments, and it was by no easy means at all. Like, I have spent so much time in this game grinding to get level 4 Pestilence. Only received it nearly 3 years into this new augment system. Getting all of this stuff may not be possible for you, unfortunately. I am not suggesting that you go after all of these things at level 4. But knowing what is slottable and what is rotted in this game should be useful to guide you through your own adventures of getting augments and making augment builds. But I'm so happy to be sharing this with you because this is such an exciting time in Mortal Kombat. We've got MK1 trailer. I've got 100% completions all under my belt. I am tying up this game with a nice tidy bow because we are ready for the next chapter, the next era of Mortal Kombat. All right, let's see what you guys are saying. Thank you so much for joining along. Hello, Dave and all. Of course, I'm at work when you have to do this. I'll have to save it on watch later list. Aw, thank you, John. I'm always happy to help. If you have any questions about any of the things that we've discussed here, please let me know. I may answer some of your questions. Some of the things that I've alluded to, I keep them close to me because I've never really publicized my usefulnesses for some of these augments because I've never really had the opportunity. A lot of these augments I was using when I was grinding to be number 1 in basically every co-op tower, and they were useful then, and I've never really showed them off in action how and why they're useful. So, I mean, if you have a question, I may help you. Maybe we'll go to number 1 together. Wouldn't that be great? But yes, thank you, my friends, for joining along. God bless all of you. I am hoping that you found this useful. If you did, please leave a like, leave a comment, leave a subscribe. Half of the people who watch this stuff are not subscribed. Not you, my live stream friends in the live stream chat. But yes, people who watch this later apparently don't subscribe. So please do this. It really helps a brother out. Also, please consider supporting the channel by joining the Jaded Bunny family. You guys get access to all of my secret builds, my number 1 strategies for single player, my infinite time crystal glitch, my family only, private only, invite only events where you get to brutalize me. So if you want to come brutalize my Jade, yes, please do join the fam. Much love to Tom Smith and Darth Piggy, our newest brothers in the family. Thank you for joining. Also, much love to Dexter Baptiste, Charlie Ravens, Danny Slaw Energizer, Pro Gamer, Francois Tremblay, J4, Among Us Gamer, Kenneth, GCXBU Gaming, Cara D, Kokoma Joe, AG Miller, Lucy Little Thunder, Boots Alexander, Jonah, Eric, Glowy, Blood Ferox, Chaka Corn, Airy, Michael K, Darkside, Trokar, Ghoul, Mark Danny, O Gamer, Michael G, Swishbish, Maruna, Ilkid, Snoopy Blind FGC, Albus Christus Mortis, Yuri, Erdem, Calum, JJ, Dr. Eggman, Alina, Acenonics 85, Siderem, Alan, Ragnar, Rian Chaos, and Queen Melina. Thank you, my brothers and sisters. It really means the world that you help support me here. Keeps us alive on the YouTube, so thank you. Yay! I'm so excited! What a wonderful, exciting time for us here in this fighting game universe. New Mortal Kombat coming in September. I'm getting all the augments in the game. Now, whatever I play in this game, it's really just true gravy. I've gotten all of the things that actually matter. I'm so excited. But yes, I hope like your pre-ordering is going well. I see Guardeth says emergency pre-orders for MK1 start. Emergency, like who needs to go to the hospital over pre-ordering? But yes, thank you for joining along. God bless you for making it to the end. But until next time, I'm praying that you are getting all of those elder rarity augments. Yes, let them be raining down upon you. But please stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy. Bye, my friends. Take care. Peace. Love you guys.